I'm going to put it out there and say that I think this season of Game of Thrones was the best season that they have ever produced. And I do not say that comment lightly. I absolutely loved this season. I have so much to discuss. It is insane. That finale, Jesus Christ, what the hell is going on with the show? So let's jump into my thoughts on Game of Thrones season 7. So the whole season opened on such a badass scene from Arya. Now, last season I did not like Arya that much. She was kind of pissing me off a lot. Like, I loved her in season 1, but her character arc just went downhill. I freaking loved the opening scene of this season when Arya totally got payback for the Freys and the Red Wedding, when she basically used her faceless skills to poison Walder Frey and kill the entire Frey house. It was so rewarding to watch, and like the payoff of that scene was just so good. I've been waiting 4 seasons for that to happen, and it finally did. As much as Cersei is a character that I always sit on the fence with, she is a badass queen. Her outfits this season have been on point. That haircut, she is just slaying as Queen Cersei. With Grey Worm and Melisandre, and things got a bit steamy for these two. Now again, we've been waiting like so long for that scene to finally happen, and it did, and it was sweet, but I'm still a bit confused as to how it all works, considering, you know, Grey Worm's situation down there. So I don't really know. It was cute, but like, I used to ship those two, but I kind of stopped caring a long time ago because of how long it took them to do anything about it. It was so hilarious as well after that scene when Dany and Melisandre were talking about it. They were having like girl talk. I feel like episode 1 was quite a slow episode considering that the rest of the pacing of the rest of the season. Episode 2 obviously ends with the battle scene between Euron Greyjoy and Theon and Yara. And oh my goodness, that scene was so epic. I loved that boat fight scene. It was so incredible to watch. The visuals of that were amazing. I want to talk about the fact that, you know, Theon made that decision to leave Yara behind on the boat. And a lot of people, I feel like, would pick up on that and say that Theon was a coward. But really, when you look at the scene, he had no choice really, because like, if he tried to save his sister, he would have been dead himself and he wouldn't even be here to try and save her now. I actually think it was a smart decision to flee rather than fight, because sometimes you've got to think with your head and not with your heart in those kind of situations, especially when it comes to a world like Game of Thrones, which is so dog eat dog and so ruthless. Episode 3, when the meeting of Jon and Dany happens, that basically set into motion the Game of Thrones fanfic kind of esque storytelling style. Obviously the scenes with Jon and Dany are absolutely just a joy to watch. They are just, for me, I don't care that it's like the most fanfic thing you've ever seen in your life. I adore those scenes together. Their initial meeting was so funny, and I just found it hilarious how throughout the whole season there was obviously the thing of Dany wanting Jon to bend the knee. Oh my god, so many innuendos. In episode 3 when they finally met, that was like a really fun scene to watch, and it was so funny seeing Sir Davos like struggle to fit in with Dany's court, and they all, like, you know, Dany's names are just unendless, like Breaker of Chains, Queen of the Slaves, Mother of Dragons, Daenerys Stormborn, you know, Ruler of the Iron Throne, whatever, blah blah blah. And then Davos just walks in and goes, Jon Snow, King of the North. As well, in episode 2, I forgot about, obviously Jorah had grayscale at the start of this season, but now he's like totally fine. And that form cut between Jorah's grayscale, like rotting flesh, and Arya's chicken pot pie, oh my god, that was the most sickening form cut I have ever seen in like anything ever. I actually felt so ill watching that. It was genius direction, but it made me sick to my stomach. That was so gross. We have to talk about the honourable, tragic loss of Olenna Tyrell. Oh my god, what an absolute fantastic character she was, and I'm so sad that she had to die this season. I feel like it was inevitable though. She was just such a great character, and I was really sad that she had to die, but I mean, she kind of got back, like even in her final moments she was still quipping away with some great one-liners. I feel like this season for me has been the season where I've been mainly rooting for Dany and the Starks. To be honest, the the Lannister house is pretty much dead. The Tyrells are all gone. The Greyjoys have obviously aligned themselves with Dany now, so I feel like it's coming down to the Starks, the Targaryens, and then the Lannisters. But honestly, I don't see the Lannisters coming out of season 8 in a good position. I think their house is kind of dead. Obviously, Tyrion's aligned himself with Dany. I have a funny feeling that Jaime's going to start going towards Dany. I'm hoping he does anyway, because I really want a redemptive arc from Jaime. Oh my god, the battle scene in episode 4 when we finally got some dragon action. I had been waiting for a dragon battle scene literally for so long, and to get it was so fucking awesome. It was amazing to watch. Like, that battle was probably, I'd go as far to say that was my favourite battle of the entire season, because the Lannisters just were absolutely fucked, basically, and they didn't stand a chance. It was the Dothraki coming in, the Unsullied, and the dragons, and it was just such a good sequence to watch. I adored it. I feel like episode 5 was a little bit more slow compared with episode 6 and 7. I don't really have as much to say about it in my notes. I'm just looking at them now. We've got Jorah and Dany's reunion in this episode, which is really funny, and obviously Jorah reunited with Dany as she's with Jon, and the tension between him and Jon is just so funny. You can't help but feel for Jorah because he's just constantly getting put down by Dany, and he's put himself on the line so many times when it comes to how he feels about Dany. But he's like, at the same time, you just like get the message already. Dany is not about it. She is not gonna go for your Jorah. Like, it's never gonna happen. Just please, I just wish you would just move on already, because it's kind of pitiful to watch now, like him still pining over her constantly. Really, this episode was basically the build up to episode 6 and then 7, with Jon and Dany deciding that they need to go and get proof that the army of the dead are marching down to the wall to go and show Cersei, so that she will then help them out in the battle against the dead. Obviously, we all know how that ended out, but we'll talk about that later, because Cersei's an absolute fucking bitch and I don't like her. The Suicide Squad like go behind the wall at the end of this episode, and Dany's like obviously doesn't want him to go because it's very risky, and obviously it was risky. It didn't end well. They all got stranded on a rock in the middle of a frozen lake when the army of the dead was surrounding them for pretty much the whole episode. Dany had to fly in on a dragon, and then we lose a dragon. Literally, I was watching episode 6 and like halfway through I was just like, oh my god, Dany is going to lose a dragon to the Night King, and like that's how he's going to like bring down the wall. Because I was just like, people, like a lot of me and my mates were talking about how, you know, the wall's going to have to come down at the end of the season, and I was just thinking, how on earth is that going to happen? Like, if it's coming down, I want the wall to fully come down. I don't want them to like just ram the door down and like go through. Like, and obviously it did fully come down thanks to the ice dragon, which honestly, I feel like I've got a bit of a controversial opinion when it comes to the ice dragon, because it was sad to see the dragon die and see it get turned, but at the same time, I kind of feel a little bit proud for the Night King, because it's like he's waited so long and he's built this army of the dead from the ground up, and he's just been watching the wall like stand there for like thousands of hundreds of years and like just getting taunted by it constantly. And he's finally got a dragon and he gets to bring down the wall. All of the like panning, all of the tracking out shots that we see, all of the tracking out wide shots we get to see of the army of the dead constantly. It's like the showrunners just want you to know how fucked everyone in Westeros is, because the army of the dead is absolutely fucking enormous. And honestly, I don't know how anyone's going to stop them. You know what really pissed me off in episode 6? Arya. Right. I'm still confused about this because of where we ended up in episode 7 following this scene. Arya basically made out like she was going to kill her sister, cut her face off and become the Lady of Winterfell. I'm still confused about Arya's intentions in that scene. I'm really, really confused about those two and why she decided to do that. And she just pissed me off. Like, how dare she talk to her sister like that? Also, I'm going to put it out there and say that Sansa hands down deserves Winterfell. She totally deserves to be the Lady of Winterfell. She has earned that position so much. Oh my god, right, I'm just gonna ramble on about the finale now because the amount of good moments that happened in the finale was fucking off the chart. It was just so fucking amazing, that episode. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time, had so many good moments, it was written so well, and I just honestly loved it. Even though there was no like massive battle scene, apart from like all the action that went down at the end, which was probably the best Game of Thrones season finale ender that I have ever seen. I'm gonna put it out there, it tops all others. The fact that the wall is fucking down because of an ice dragon, the way that the Night King was just riding on that, I was like, he was just absolutely loving life at that moment. I just found it so funny to watch. I am so worried about what he's gonna be capable of next season. Like, obviously he had the Army of the Dead anyway, and they're like the most ruthless army I've ever seen, like 10 times worse than the Dothraki, but now he's got the ice dragon. Oh my goodness, it is just not good. Obviously the finale opens with like a 5-10 minute Tarantino-esque like scene where everybody comes together in King's Landing, the most awkward meeting of all time. It was so funny to watch. The tension in that was just off the charts, and it was really hilarious to see all these old acquaintances and old friends like come together and be on different sides. It was just so hilarious. I feel like Cersei was so smug up until the moment that that box just fell and the White Walker just absolutely charged at Cersei. I was really hoping as well in that moment that the White Walker would just take Cersei down and that would just be the end of everybody's problems. Let's also talk about Queen fucking Cersei. Double crossing bitch. I hate Cersei now. She's always a character that I either like or absolutely fucking despise, and right now I am on this side of the scale. She pissed me off so much. Has she not got a fucking brain? I'm sorry, if the Army of the Dead come to King's Landing, you are fucked. I'm sorry. Jaime put it up perfectly. She can either, you know, help Dany and Jon take down the Army of the Dead, or she can't. And if they win, they're going to be pissed as hell, come and kill her. And if the Army of the Dead win, they'll come and kill her anyway. So I'm sorry, does she want to die? Clearly yes, because she double-crossed them and she's like sent Euron Greyjoy over to get a different fleet for her, so her like powers in the war to come will be even stronger. I'm sorry, no matter how many troops you get, they are nothing on two dragons. If Jon and Dany win against the Army of the Dead, you're still screwed regardless. So I don't understand her logic. I was so happy though in the finale that Jaime finally kind of grew a pair and started thinking with his brain rather than with his dick. And he finally like stood up to Cersei. But holy crap, I honestly thought it was the end of Jaime when she gave that nod to the mountain to kill him. I was like, fuck, Jaime cannot die here and now. He can't die. After obviously episode 6 when Arya and Sansa were kind of having a sisterly feud, episode 7, the Starks came back strong as ever. That scene, Littlefinger's death, was the best scene for the Starks all season, I have to say. Littlefinger started off all of Game of Thrones. He is the reason that everybody we ever knew on Game of Thrones is dead. He's the reason that all the wars are going on, everyone's fighting. He's the reason for everything. And like, he was due a death a long time ago, and I'm just so glad that he died. I'm really gutted though that Arya was the one that killed him and not Sansa. I really wish that Sansa was the one to like slit his throat, but sadly Arya just had to do it, didn't she? I'm just glad that Arya and Sansa aren't fighting anymore, and it was really nice to see them make up. And when like Arya and Sansa were talking about who should rightfully have Winterfell, I'm really glad that Arya said that Sansa should do it, and I'm really glad that they're on good terms again. I still really don't understand what the intentions of that scene in episode 6 were. But now, to finish off this Game of Thrones season 7 discussion, we need to talk about Jon and Dany and the boat sex. Holy crap. I was actually so happy that this happened, and I was such trash for it. Now I have to say, Bran and Sam, when they were coming together, it felt like there's a little bit of bromance going on between them, and I'm totally on board. You could see the spark of like cute friendship going on. I really liked it. And when they were like kind of unsolving the mystery as to the annulment of Rhaegar and his wife, so that he could marry Lyanna, and them unravelling that, and Bran using his three-eyed raven abilities to go and see the wedding between Rhaegar and Lyanna was just such a good scene, and how they did the parallels between them two and Jon and Dany. But like, oh, it was just so amazing to watch. It was executed so well. I loved the voiceover as well. It was just, oh, it was just such a nice scene. And obviously the boat sex finally happened. The sexual chemistry and the sexual tension that has been building up all season finally was resolved. Now, I don't understand why Tyrion was being a little lurker in the corridor, like stood in the corridor as they were like on like inside like the room, like having sex. It's a bit like, why is Tyrion there? It's a bit creepy. Like, does he fancy Dany or something? Is he like gutted he's not the one in there? But I don't really know. But, and I know like they're obviously nephew and aunt and it's incest, but I mean, I'm willing to overlook that. It is Game of Thrones. Everyone's been alright with Jaime and Cersei getting it on for the last 7 seasons. Why can't Jon and Dany be together? So the wall is down, Jon and Dany are together, the Stark house is reunited, Cersei is fucked, Jaime has left her, the Army of the Dead are marching on Westeros. Season 8 comes out in a year and I cannot wait that long. I might just have to rewatch all of Game of Thrones just to like quench my need for the next season right now. I would love to hear what you guys thought of this season. If you have any thoughts, please comment them down below. I'd love to discuss what went down this season because it was amazing. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you've enjoyed it and I haven't been rambling on too much about all of my Game of Thrones feelings. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay tuned for more videos and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!